watching the It's Her Time podcast with Cody and Jess. The holidays are upon us and our daylight hours are slowly dwindling. For many of us, fall and winter are the hardest months to stick with our healthy lifestyle goals. This time of year, I am so tempted to skip my workouts and pop some avocado brownies in the oven and just binge watch my favorite TV series. I know that we tend to cut ourselves some slack during the holiday months because, after all, we still have months before we need to have our bodies beach ready, right? Wrong. The problem with this mode of thinking is that when we slip back into old, unhealthy patterns of poor diet and minimal exercise, while adding in the stress of the approaching holiday season, it takes a huge toll on our immune systems and our just overall health. So staying proactive in caring for ourselves should be top priority all year long, but especially during the holidays. So on today's episode, I want to share some tips that I can give you that can keep us feeling healthy all year long, but especially during this time of year. But before we go into our holiday survival guide, if you will, let's join Jess for a Mixers Girl Say.
Because we've been launching and talking and all things over at Mixers have been around her baby, we are going to talk about crazy birth stories for today's Mixers Girl Say. We both have crazy birth stories.
I feel like every woman, when you get in a group, together, we all have crazy birth stories. And then,
it's such a fun way to connect because I have very few friends that are like, my labors are just easy. No big deal.
I had one friend that literally has never felt a labor pain. She has 6 kids. I mean, she needs to have 12 because she schedules her delivery. She goes in, she gets the epidural, she sleeps through it all, and then she is awakened when she's supposed to push. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's amazing. That's not how it works for most of us, right?
No. My quick version, I had my son in Italy in a basement, dark dungeon hospital, 37 hours, natural labor, which is amazing if it's planned and you're aware that that's going to happen. But that wasn't my plan. And then it was natural. So I just wasn't ready for it. 37 hours, tore completely, tons of stitches, no numbing or anesthesia. There we go.
You get the rest of the story. Oh, honey. I just want to give you a hug.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Cody. But you have had crazy stories too.
Yes.
Broken bones.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell the story?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my daughter, I had 2 babies that were over 10 pounds. So they were big babies. Both of them were posterior, which means that they are facing up instead of down. That's the opposite of how they should be coming out. So delivery was very hard. I was rushed both times to go get a cesarean done. But the doctor, I had 2 different doctors, but both of them tried to, see if we could avoid the C-section and use forceps to turn them around. Was able to do that. But with my daughter, he was pulling her out with so much force that he ended up breaking my daughter's humerus bone, which is the bone that's between the shoulder and the elbow, in half, as well as my tailbone. And we heard it. It was terrible.
My tailbone is throbbing.
We can't even watch our video of her birth. It's just traumatic. And we didn't know she had a broken arm for 5 days. They thought it was just my tailbone that we had heard crack. And that's kind of common. And they did check her clavicle because that's something that's common to have break in a delivery too. And it was fine. They didn't check the humerus bone. So poor thing, 5 days. She was just flapping around with this
and everyone's trying to swaddle her and
she was so sweet. She'd literally go if there was any movement and it hurt. She never cried, and so we just didn't know. But long story short, we knew something was wrong, and I had that mother's intuition that told me we need to go get it checked again. And sure enough, poor thing,
broken arm,
yeah.
Well, this is interesting. A woman wrote in, broke my tailbone while pushing. It took me 3 weeks to even be able to walk again.
It's the worst. And I don't think my tailbone is still the same.
Oh, I'm sure it's not.
27 years later.
No, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Another woman says, my placenta wouldn't detach, went to the OR for extra anesthesia, and my OB pulled it off.
Ooh. Oh, my gosh.
I pushed oh, my gosh.
We're going to make everybody listening and watching just pass out right now. These are terrible.
I pushed so hard and so fast. There was blood sprayed on the wall. My first baby
Women are
slipped
so
out.
tough.
Oh my gosh, I'm starting to feel lightheaded. My first baby slipped out and no doctor was even in the hospital.
What?
Jeez.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's like the opposite of my story.
My water broke at 4:30 a.m. and baby was born at 6:13 a.m. First baby, and she was 10 days early. Jeez.
Wow.
You go, girl. Nurse didn't believe I was in pain, wouldn't call a doctor for epidural, had unplanned natural birth. I get it.
Yeah, that's your story.
Just had twins, born on different days and in different ways. That's a really, I'm sure it's a crazy, hard, that was probably not in your plan experience, but that's actually a very interesting, fun fact for your twins for later.
Yes.
For twins.
And kind of nice, maybe for the twins.
I had to have a different birthday.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Wow.
Well, thanks for sharing some crazy stories. Now let's get into the episode.
Mixers is a company made for women by women. Each of our products have been carefully and lovingly crafted to support you in all stages of your life, providing you with the optimal health you deserve. Each ingredient we handpick is 100% all natural, backed by science, and chosen specifically to better your life physically, mentally, and hormonally. Each product empowers your body to take charge of its monthly hormonal shift and flows, empowering you to live life to the fullest. Let Mixers take care of your needs from sunup to sundown, and you take care of the rest. Check us out at mixers.com, MIXHERS.
All right, let's get this conversation started. This episode was actually inspired by the girls in our office who asked if I could help them get through the holidays without coming out on the other side feeling and looking like crap. I know that we have all been there. It's no wonder so many of us feel this way after all the binge eating that we do and the late nights and lots and lots and lots of treats. They take their toll on us. In fact, if you've been here for a while, you know I talk about how January is notorious for being the month that we suffer with our worst periods of the year. That's just how the holidays can show up for us girls. So if we're not careful, that can be the case. That's why I wanted to give you ladies a few very helpful tips, that survival guide, like I said, so that you can be set up for success. All right, we ready? All right, my first tip to help set us up for that success is to first find like-minded friends. I know it sounds super simple. Finding friends with similar health and lifestyle goals is really a very important way to stay encouraged to stick with our self-care during this season, especially. I think that we often underestimate the power of positive, like-minded friendships. I know that at the Mixers office, we have all made a pact to be supportive and to help make having a healthy holiday season feel even a little bit fun. So, by the way, did you know that laughter actually releases endorphins that help to diminish the stress hormones that are in our body? So, by all means, get together with your great friends and laugh it up. Don't be the Lone Ranger trying to be healthy on your own, because that never works. So grab some friends to help you during this journey, if you will, during this time of year. I want you girls to think back to during a time of your life. Maybe it was during your freshman year of college, and maybe you experienced that freshman 15 that I know so many of us have experienced. Many of us gained, 15 pounds during that first year of college because we were staying up late, we were studying into the wee hours, we were eating junk food, and we were succumbing to the culture of college. And all of this can create super fun memories, but it's not fun to have that visual reminder of the stress we put our bodies through at the end. So doesn't all of this sound a lot like what happens to us during the holidays, all the late nights, the binging, all of the things, right? So did you know that the average amount of weight that people gain during the holidays is 8 pounds? That's the average. Some people gain more, some people gain less, but that's the average amount. And we don't want that evidence necessarily showing up on us, when we hit January and February and so on. So I know that there was somebody that has once told me that the type of people that we hang out with is the type of person that we will become. They have a huge influence on us. So if you can help it, and we all can actually, we want to make sure that we're spending time with people who bring out the very best in us. For me, what works is that I like to find people that I really admire. Then I take the initiative and I actually invite them into my world. So All of you in my world just know that I admire you and I love that you're such a positive influence in my life. I know for me, having friends that encourage me to be the best that I can be helps me be better able to stick to my healthy lifestyle goals. And it makes it a blast and it keeps me healthy in the process. I know I depend on my tribe and my husband a lot to keep me supported and in check with my goals all year, but especially this time of year. All right, let's go into my second tip, and that is to eat seasonally. Eating healthy does not need to be a complicated and expensive process. It all comes down to getting into the habit of being prepared. So, as they say, failure to plan is planning to fail. So keeping healthy staples on hand at all times is a really effective strategy. Some ideas of foods that I like to keep on hand are foods like free-range eggs, organic meats and fish, fresh or dried herbs, fresh fruits and vegetables, nuts, almond or coconut milk, sweet potatoes, and frozen fruits for smoothies are always in my wheelhouse. The way that I describe this kind of food prep for me is instead of thinking that you need to prepare every single meal you're going to eat during the upcoming week, during your weekend, instead think of creating a salad bar type fridge. Clean and cut your ingredients and then put them into glass jars so that you can see them when you open your fridge and they're easy to grab for easy snacking or to make deliciously fresh recipes. I'm not against prepping full meals. I get that that's really great sometimes, but I know that sometimes the thought of all of that work on a weekend would stop me from food prepping. And I'm all about finding shortcuts to make healthy eating habits more doable. So one thing that I love is to use a slow cooker and use slow cooker recipes, especially in the fall and winter. For example, if you have a busy work schedule and you can't find time to cook, spend an hour on Saturday or Sunday and just prep 2 to 3 freezer meals that you can just thaw the night before and then pop in your slow cooker. Nothing beats opening your door and coming home and being greeted with the aroma of a freshly cooked meal. You're going to feel so grateful that you took the time earlier in the week to make healthy eating a priority and that you made it a little bit easier to achieve during your busy life. All right, tip number 3 is exercise for your emotions, all right? Exercise, it plays a huge part in our overall health, obviously, and it helps to equip us to face the ups and the downs of life, but it makes us be able to face them with strength. So not only will exercise increase our physical prowess, but it also helps us to balance our emotions and it helps to reduce our stress levels, which is so important. So linked with exercise is a lot of talk about endorphins. I know you girls have all heard about those feel-good, happy feelings that come from exercise, right? But what are endorphins? How I like to explain endorphins is like this. Or endorphins are like a little army that helps to empower our bodies. They send messages to our brain that diminish the feeling of pain and help us to battle stress, and they strengthen our immune systems. But what if you hate to exercise? And it's sad if you do, but I get it. Exercise especially is hard, to get started when we're feeling tired or we're feeling cold or busy. I know, I get it. So I say start with some baby steps. At least just try to get outside and appreciate the wonder of nature during this time of year. Try walking or hiking or get on your bike and go. Or you can do something inside like join a yoga class or find something that makes your heart rate just rise a little bit, something that gets your blood pumping. Those endorphins will do their job after you start doing this, and you'll actually start to hate exercise less, I promise. Another tip is to check out your local Parks and Rec program, because I bet you anything that you will discover some interesting options for even the most exercise resistant of you. The key, though, to exercise, and this is important, is to remember that consistency is what matters most. So find out what you enjoy and then invite those like-minded friends and laugh as you go and just get moving. It makes a big difference in how we feel, and it makes a huge difference in our overall health. All right, tip number 4 is to get that beauty sleep. Now, adequate sleep has always been a huge struggle for me. I know you're the same. My busy schedule keeps me going nonstop at times, and I have to remember to take the time to nurture my body by allowing it to properly reset and recharge, even if that means disciplining myself not to stay up late to get that one last thing done. For adults, male and female, 7 to 9 hours of sleep is the recommended range for optimal health. We need this time to recharge, to allow our body systems to do their given jobs and to de-stress from the day. A good gauge for how much sleep you actually need is to try going to bed one night at a reasonable hour and then don't set your alarm for the next day. When you naturally wake up the next morning, this is going to reveal for you how many hours of sleep you actually need. To promote a peaceful night of sleep, be sure to limit your screen time at least 1 hour before bed. That blue light really messes with our melatonin release. Also, it's not just the blue light, but any light can really trick our brain to think that it's still daytime. So darken your room, turn down the temperature to keep your heart rate slow, and restrict those evening snacks before you hit the sack. All right, my last tip is supplements. All right, supplements bridge the gap. Supplements are like the icing on the cake when it comes to our health. And maybe that's not the best analogy for this because cake is maybe something we're trying to avoid. But anyway, you know what I mean. When we are taking care of ourselves by eating healthy and we're getting regular exercise and we're allowing for adequate sleep, supplements help to bridge the gap and support our overall health year-round. Supplements are a big player when it comes to optimizing our health and nutrition and in preventing hormone imbalance and other dis-ease in our body. So to wrap this episode up, I've got a better analogy than the cake one. To remind you girls of everything that we've just talked about on today's episode, I want you girls to remember that a healthy lifestyle works like the legs of a table. So picture that. We need all the legs of the table for the table to remain steady and intact and balanced. If one leg is fractured or missing, the security of the whole table is going to suffer. So if our health is like a table and the legs of the table are things like our like-minded friends, our intentional nutrition, our endorphin-boosting exercise, and our restorative rest, we need all 4 of these things for our table to do what it was designed to do. If we don't have adequate rest, for example, our health and immune system will suffer, even if we are eating well and we're exercising. We do all we can do and then know that we are lucky because we can also bridge the gap with nutritional therapy supplements like we offer over here at Mixers to help support these pillars of strength, especially during this holiday season. I am looking forward to all of the good times, the good food, and the good people that I get to surround myself over the next couple of weeks until the new year. And I hope that you girls are looking forward to it too. It doesn't mean that we can't enjoy and partake in all of the fun, but what we don't want to happen is all of this to take its toll on our body hormonally and with our overall health. We can stay healthy and we can have a happy holiday season as well. I hope these tips will help you and guide you to know that it doesn't have to be complicated. We can keep it simple and we can do this. And especially if we all can make a pact together to be each other's best support group. All right. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. I hope that you had fun listening. I hope you learned some things and I hope you'll share this episode with the girls in your life because sharing is caring. All right. Until next time, please have a very safe and healthy and happy week. And we will be back with a new episode next Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.